So hello, and welcome to today's podcast, Plans to Places with CEI Engineering and Associates, where we explore all aspects of design and development. I'm Debbie Jones. I'll be your host today. Today, we're focusing on the people behind the designs and how they got their start. I have invited a special co-host with me today, Kristen Swall. She is the HR manager for CEI. So great to have you here, Kristen.
Thanks, Debbie. I'm glad to be here today.
Kristen, I asked you to bring a few guests from CEI who started in an entry-level position and have moved on into leadership level impact. So I'm excited today to hear their journeys, their inspiration, and maybe some advice that they have for the newcomers that are heading up behind them. So, Kristen, tell me who you've brought with you today.
Yes, I am very excited. I have invited Nick Degan, our CAD Manager, to join us today. He has been with CEI for 14 years, and he currently leads our training initiatives for CEI. Excited to have you here.
Thanks for having me.
All right. So tell us how you got started at CEI 14 years ago. Tell us what it was like. Tell us your role. Tell us your story about how you got here.
Yeah. So I came in knowing nothing about civil engineering, civil 3D, none of the software. I knew AutoCAD, and I had a mechanical background. I was looking for a change in career, and I looked for architecture and civil. CEI is the one that called. But once I got here, I realized that the civil is really what I wanted to do. And I started as a CAD tech, which is our entry position, and I've worked through every design position there is into project management portions, and now I'm the CAD manager.
That's incredible. So walk us through what the steps looked like at CEI with the support, your learning and development, working through design, ultimately landing this managerial role.
Yeah. So one, I said I came in with, no experience,
right,
which is I had CAD experience, but no design experience, no practical for the role. Mm-hmm. But we have, even before me, CEI had a huge training focus. And the previous trainer at the time, I came in and I got a week full of training, just like I continue to give to our new staff. So that really set me straight. And from that on, I always had somebody to talk to for any of my questions, always had a support system. And I felt like there was always somebody willing to ask a question, and they would sit and give me the time to answer it.
So as you're working through it, and now you've made the switch over from mechanical engineering to civil engineering, and you're really getting into these first jobs, and you see that how quickly you're moving, what was the point that you realized that this could really be your career path?
I had probably just gone through a pretty intense workload, trial by fire, if you will. But I think after the end of that, the conclusion of that, I kind of looked up and felt like I had found my place. I knew that if I wanted to stay here, that people were going to support me because I had been shown nothing other than support. And I felt like I could put roots. And it was probably about a year in, honestly, I just saw the support that I had, and I really liked the people in the place. So I put in roots.
And this might be your comment, but I have to tell you that it is really inspiring to me because of what an impact that first week of training had, and how you've used that over and over, and it's really created your best life for where you are now. And I think being able to pour back into that, and then seeing other people, what you brought to the situation, I just have to tell you, I know that you moved around on a lot of teams. You got in my opinion, you had a lot of exposure in a lot of different areas. Mm-hmm. And it was really nice to see you step up to the plate in all of those situations, even the ones that might have been on fire.
Yep.
So it's nice to look back on that now and just see how far.
Yeah, it's been a journey.
So if we were bringing in an intern now, and you're thinking about how they might get started, or I guess maybe some pointers that you would give to them, how might you describe the culture at CEI to someone that is just joining the team?
from my point of view, it's always been one of support. And in my current role, which I fill the CAD Manager role, I support all of our design staff. I manage all of the softwares and teach them how to use it and teach them all the design stuff. So I always feel like it's one of support, and I'm just one person in the web. I'm the CAD resource, but there are dozens and dozens of other people. There's engineers and landscape architects and survey and there's everything. And I feel like almost, I've never had a situation where someone was too busy to answer a question or too busy to give me the support that I needed.
Okay. That's good. So I hear you saying you have all of these resources. What advice would you give an intern coming in? Like that can feel a little intimidating, I guess, maybe for an intern to come in. So how do you make the transition?
As an intern, the best piece of advice I'd probably give you is just to be open to the training. We get people that come in that feel like they know a lot and they're more or less closed off. The ones that really excel are the ones that come in and are listening. They're open ears. And in addition to that, there's plenty of support. You have to use it. So you have to speak up for yourself. You have to ask the questions. Those are the big things. And I would like to think that we're approachable enough that you can ask your questions and you don't have to worry too much.
One of the things that I've seen that I have really appreciated about our HR department is the way that they're working with teaching people self-advocacy. Mm-hmm. So how to have the conversation on your behalf.
Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. And reaching out to those mentors, which you yourself have become a heavy in mentor at CEI for sure. It's always use your resource, go to Nick, go to the training team, and it's great. And I can tell you, your name has been used a lot by me. Again, mentorship is big, and you have been mentored at CEI so much, and it's helped bring you up. And in return, you're able to do the same thing to our staff. So it's great. What would you say to someone that is unsure about their entry-level position or unsure about making that move, maybe like you said, to a different industry? What would you say to someone that might be unsure?
Oh, that one's a tough one. Unsure is, well, one, if you decide you want to do it bad enough, you want to try it, you've already made that step.
Yeah.
But if you were coming to CEI again, I would say give it a shot. One, unsure, you have to get your hands dirty and see what it's like. But I would like to think that once, you give it a shot, if civil is the world that you want to be in, which it was the world I wanted to be in, then this is a good place to settle in. There's lots of support. And, you talked about mentors. I didn't get here by myself. I was mentored, but I also actively went for that. I found a mentor. I went to them with all my questions. So that is something that, if they're unsure and they're starting something new that's scary, you got to get in there and get your hands dirty and see if it is actually what you want or not. You can't, if you're just questioning, you're not gonna ever answer that question.
Right.
You can't be half in or half out.
Yep.
Well, it's fast water then. So, okay, just a couple more areas for us to talk about. So one of the things that people come up with quite a bit around your name, obviously, is our CAD training program, but also we have lots and lots of internal programs for support. So wondered if there were any of our resources that kind of stick out, and that could include the ones that you've created over the last several years. So what are those resources?
Yeah, so I have a lot of resources that I would like to say are the best thing we have. Anyone that's working our CAD staff, I have a reference manual that I've written every word of, 200 pages nearly, videos and trainings and courses. But honestly, the best thing that we do, in my opinion, the course is put on by the training department, but not CAD. It is BRV, which is Building Relationship Versatility. And essentially, it's a 2-day training course that really teaches you how to talk to people. If you want to get down to it. It helps you identify personality types and styles of communication. And that is by far the best thing that helped me in my career, was able to identify, what a speaking style was and be able to match them. That helped me with every city I've ever spoken to and every client, and now, which my clients are our staff. It's helped me infinitely. So above all of the CAD stuff, which I am very proud of, the BRV training is honestly what I think is the most helpful as far as like long-term support.
I think it's really important to provide that balanced experience, because it doesn't matter how big of a brain or how smart you are if you cannot communicate it.
Yep.
Or really be available to also hear what other people are trying to communicate back.
Yes. And it might not be the words that they're using. You
Right.
gotta read between the lines.
Right. So I think that's fantastic. To kind of complete the training out really with bringing it all together. And I think that's probably what BRV does.
Yes.
Is how you can improve your communication to be able to actually connect the dots.
Absolutely.
Close the circuit. Is that what mechanical engineers say?
Yeah.
So, well, with that in mind, as you're like working with new recruits that are coming in, you're going to have I know you have all varieties of experience, people that are darkening your doorstep coming through the onboarding process. But what advice would you give someone starting at the company, kind of regardless of their experience?
Yeah. So we touched a little bit about what I would, new person starting. One, you have to be open and willing to learn. That's a big part. But if you're looking for, career advice for, the things that I did, I can just go through some of the touching points there, in which I kind of boil it down to, you have to advocate for yourself. You have to speak up for yourself. You have to fight for yourself. I feel like I did that, but I was also taught to do that. And I was encouraged while at CEI, which is something that I really appreciate, is, we talk about an open door policy. I felt like that has always been true. Whenever I had an issue, I went and talked to my mentor, which they were a part of senior leadership, and I would just go walk in the door and talk to them. It wasn't a big formal thing. And I felt like there were opportunities arise. You hate hearing when you run into a challenge, this is an opportunity. But I really had eyes out for, things like that. And I saw opportunities when, okay, if I handle this, I can, I'll take on this and I'll learn this and I'll get to that next step. And I felt like that rang true always. So definitely you have to advocate for yourself. Your boss is not waking up thinking about how they can get you a promotion. No one's thinking that. You have to think about it yourself. So speak up for yourself, advocate for yourself, and also use your resources. Like, use your mentor, use your CAD resources, use your engineering, use it all. It's there to be used. So don't let it go to waste.
Nice. I think that's a fantastic way to summarize it. And I think that is really applicable advice regardless of where people are. Nick, I just in all of your experiences, I know you've got at least to have one really great one. And no names, although I imagine that the guilty parties will recognize himself. But have you had an experience? What's something that's funny that kind of sticks out from all of your experience in training people?
Yeah. So the funny experience is the party in question is myself. I was the person being trained. So I was a designer, and this is something that I will never forget. I had a big workload. I needed to come in on the weekend to get it done. This was back when we had to come to the office. I came in on a Saturday. No one's there. I opened my computer and my AutoCAD isn't working. Whatever is wrong with it, it doesn't work. I messaged this was back when I had to use email before we had Teams. So I emailed the previous CAD manager, the CAD manager at the time, and within 30 minutes, they lived in Bentonville. I drove an hour to get here from my house, and I was so stressed out. I needed to get work done. 30 minutes, the CAD manager came in on his day off and fixed my computer within 10 minutes, and I will never forget that. And that allowed me to get my work done, and I didn't have to waste an hour drive and an hour back. So I think about that all the time, and I always try to provide that same, I remember when that was done for me, So I always try to remember anytime someone asks for help, I'm like, the last guy would have done it for me.
So I love that, Nick. We really appreciate your time today. You've always been a person in CEI that runs to the fire. And that's just something that we just cannot get enough of in our leadership. So thank you very much for your time today.
Yes.
Kristen, great pick.
Thank you, Nick.
Who do we have
really
up
appreciate
next?
it. Keep it up.